Have you ever experienced a fear that people will find out you're actually not really good at your job? Even though you're more than capable at doing a really good job. You're trained, you have the schooling, you have everything it takes to do an amazing job at your job, but yet something's holding you back. There's a general fear or anxiety around your ability to accept that you're amazing at your job. And oftentimes with anxiety comes the feeling of feeling alone. Well, in this video, I want to prove to you that you're not alone. This is actually a very common thing with hairstylists and photographers, and I think a lot of other creative industries. It's called imposter syndrome. It's a very real thing, and a lot of people struggle with it. Imposter syndrome is defined by the inability to believe that you actually deserve the success that you have. And it's an obstacle that many other people deal with and have overcome. And my hope is that in this video, you will see that the very hairstylists you look up to have also struggled with this and even currently struggle with this. And that you too deserve all the success from the hard work that you've poured into your hairstyling career. Let's use my wife, Eliza, as the first example. I know I'm a little biased, but I actually believe she's superwoman. I have seen her achieve and conquer so many things in the 10 years that we've been together. But I've also seen her struggle with a little bit of imposter syndrome, and I don't actually get it because from my eyes, she can do anything. But instead of listening to me, let's head to the salon and hear what Eliza has to say about imposter syndrome.
Do just what you want. You're the one that tries.
So,
Hey.
I was telling everyone how confident you are at everything you do. Because you're a superwoman. You like literally do everything and you achieve every goal. Do you struggle with imposter syndrome?
Oh my goodness, yes. I feel like half the time I'm sitting in one of my salons being like, I can't believe that clients actually believe that this is a real business. It's been something that I've had to like work really hard on to believe that, you know, that I actually have like created something and that, you know, that I have employees. And I don't know, sometimes it's just like so easy to think that it feels like you're faking it, and then you look around and you're like, no, like we actually built this thing. That's pretty cool. Honestly, whenever I have to have like a difficult conversation, which is just like part of being a boss or being an owner, I will go somewhere private and do a superwoman pose.
Where's the superwoman pose? Let's see it. Let's see it.
You're gonna make me do this with a pregnant belly.
That's the superwoman pose.
Or sometimes like this.
And what does that do?
It just like gets you out of your head, and standing confidently, like physiologically does something in your brain, and you're like, I can do this. And then also just like positive self-affirmation, just like reminding yourself things that you know that are true. For me, at least, personally, it's the things I have to remind myself that are true, that I have people's best intentions in mind. I run my business honestly and with integrity. And as long as I'm sticking true to my core values and my morals, even if I make mistakes, I can honestly say at the end of the day that, you know, I'm proud of what I've done.
So you are 8 months pregnant.
Yes.
Do you have imposter syndrome about being a mom?
Yes. I was hoping you're not going to ask me that. 1,000%. Because I think anytime you're going into something brand new that you've never done before, like, I don't know how to be a mom. I've never been a mom before. There's no manual. But it was the same thing opening a salon. I didn't know how to open a salon. I didn't know how to be a boss, but you just learn, and you talk to people that are older and wiser and more experienced and learn from them. And no more questions. I have work to do.
Bex,
Yes.
have you ever experienced imposter syndrome or self-doubt?
Well, I can tell you that we all have it. No matter how successful or on your way to being successful you are, there's always a moment where you want to throw in the towel, where you think, I'm not good enough. I have just started a job as an educator with Crevana, and I am super excited, but I'm also afraid, of course. I'm afraid that I'm not good enough. What if I teach a class and my students think, what is she talking about? She doesn't even know anything. Though I have been doing hair for 14 years and I am a master colorist, I still have moments where I doubt myself and I think other people are better than I am, and I think it's completely normal. And I also think no matter how long you've been doing hair, you will never know everything. Especially in our industry, it's constantly changing. There's constantly new formulas and techniques to learn. So we always evolve as a stylist.
In your career, if you're perfectly comfortable, you're never pushing yourself. But do you think that's a good thing? Do you think that fear pushes you?
Absolutely. I think stepping out of your comfort zone is absolutely essential for success or personal growth in general. Sometimes I get really nervous about certain things, and then I remember I was 24 years old by myself on an airplane to go and live a new life in Canada, not knowing anything, nothing lined up for me. And I still did it. Sometimes you just gotta jump in there and learn how to swim when you're already in the pool.
On our Zoom call now, I have Brand Rice. I originally met Brand like, how many years ago?
A lot of years ago.
A lot of years ago. We met in San Diego. Tattoos, long hair, like crazy jewelry. At the time, I was like, I could never pull off that jewelry, but I was like, I want to be friends with that guy. Like,
it's funny to hear you speak about the first time you met me and how I came across to you, because it probably was the complete opposite back then. I think that the more that I tend to hide behind, the more insecure I really am. So as I get older, as I become a little bit more comfortable with myself and do like a lot of really difficult self-work, I tend to hide behind less. So when I think back to, San Diego and times before that, I probably back then was riding still some sort of high peak wave in my career. My ego was probably in complete control. And there probably wasn't a lot of, like you're getting now, way more Brandon Rice than you did back then. You have to find worth in who you are and not let your title define you. If you can detach yourself from, again, what you do, and realize that there's layers to you. I think that quarantine, to be honest with you, was a good thing. You tend to find your self-worth in your work. So I'm a provider for my family. I feel needed when I'm at work, both from my employees and from my stylists. So when I'm detached from that, it's easy to feel worthless. And all of a sudden, you were forced into being worthless because nobody needed you anymore. And your government was telling you that you're not important anymore. I think that the most important thing that we can do is not be afraid to look in the mirror. Like I said, separate yourself from what you do. That's not who you are, it's what you do.
Even top stylists, like, you go on and you look at their Instagram, and like top stylists, like they have their bad days too, like where they mess up stuff, or stuff doesn't turn out quite how they planned. Nobody else sees that, it's like we don't post those things sometimes, but like I still have days where I'm like, that color didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, or whatever, or my timing was off so bad and I had to like reschedule another client because I screwed up my timing.
Is there some things in your life that you actively practice, some tangible things that have helped you with whether it's confidence or belief in your self-worth?
You need to surround yourself with people now who are going to build you up and have confidence in you and allow you to be yourself and allow you to do what, help you to do what you do best. So I think that that's a key thing as an adult now, or as a stylist now in your career, is don't make sure you're not around people who are tearing you down or trying to pull you down with them. It's like sometimes you have to get out of a certain situation and find a better situation for yourself.
For me, it's one of those things where I think I am an introvert living in an extrovert world. So I struggled with like so much, whenever I do these engagements with social media or go out, working with everybody for the brand, I'm like completely, utterly exhausted after spending a day doing that. And I would always beat myself up about that. But then I kind of I bought a book and I looked more into the introvert and extrovert. And it's just really how does a person get their energy back? I get my energy back by being alone, reading, watching a movie, being by myself. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, instead of beating myself up about that, while everybody else would be all day long and then they would go out and socialize even more, I would feel so bad because I'm like, well, why aren't I like wanting to go do that? But I think I just realized within myself, no, I need that alone time so then I can go the next day and perform.
Perfectionism and imposter syndrome, they really go like hand in hand. And I think what I see a lot of perfectionists do is they wait until they're perfect to start. But the thing is, you're never going to be perfect. So what did you do as a perfectionist to start?
Sometimes I feel like I don't have the right to be doing this. Even though I have 32 years of experience behind the chair, you still have those self-doubts. And so I think you just got to push yourself to constantly be stepping up your game. Because I still have all those insecurities and self-doubt. And I think we all look at all these other people, and I look at all these other people that I think that are doing better than me or whatnot. And you can bet so many of them have the exact same insecurities we all have. Like somebody whose page isn't as big as my page, they're going to be like, oh, I wish I had what she had.
Yeah.
But, they don't know that I'm still feeling maybe what they're feeling, even at this level.
Imposter syndrome is such a real thing, especially if you have not really accomplished much in your life. And for a lot of my life, I didn't really have that many accomplishments under my belt. I was never making a lot of money. I was always jumping around from job to job. So that whenever I was in a new position in a company or in one of my own companies or stepping into the role of even just being CEO of Masters of Balayage, one day I'm just like, wow, I actually have a company now that's exploding and I am the CEO and I just don't feel like it. It's one of those things that I hate to say it, but it's kind of like you fake it till you make it. You have to really just embrace what's happening around you. And if you have to become a CEO, if you have to become a leader, if you have to become a father, you just have to embrace it. You just have to jump into it and commit to, you know what, I'm going to try my hardest, and I know I'm going to fail, but I know I'm also going to succeed. You have to have faith in yourself that you are going to rise to the occasion and overcome any challenges that are going to get in your way. If you just sit back and expect this wave of confidence to just engulf your body, it's not going to happen. I mean, there are lots of days when I wake up and I just don't feel like working. But I know that if I go into the office, if I record those videos that I need to record, even if I'm not feeling like I want to do it that day, I have to rise to the occasion. I have to basically shut up and show up.
Yeah.
I was thinking too, that was gonna be my next book title, Shut Up and Show Up. You know what? In my life, I've never felt good enough. And even today, there are days when I just don't feel like I'm CEO material. But then I reassure myself and I'm like, you know what? I am doing what I need to do. And yes, I am on the right path. And I have to just keep reminding myself that what I'm doing is working. I am going to fail, but I am going to succeed more. And the more I fail, the more I succeed.
I always wanted to do hair, and I've always been told it's not a real career. And still I was like, I'm not good enough. I was like, why are you guys booking with me? Like, I could be better.
Yeah.
I could be better. And it kind of like eats away at you. So when I moved out here, I think the reassurance from other people helps a little bit. I don't know, like I critique my work so much. And I don't want to like post something because I'm like, I zoom in on the picture and I'm like, oh, that one little hair. But my clients, for example, like they don't, they're like, it's fine, it's beautiful. And I'm like, no, it's not. Just because I was like, that foil's not good enough. That one foil back here, I was like, didn't do it right. I had to start over. But I think just being a perfectionist and procrastinating a lot, that's the biggest thing that I've read. in Impostor Syndrome and just second guessing yourself. And I started like analyzing it, and I was like, I feel like this happens a lot with artists. And you doing like videography and photography, can you agree with that?
Oh, so much. And even for me, pricing, I think where a lot of photographers and other artists struggle is comparison. And she's like, oh my goodness, the person down the road, they're charging like $50 for a headshot or a photo shoot. And to not worry about what the other guy's doing. But it's hard just to stay in our own lane. We have our own goals, and to not, I think comparison is bad, and Instagram and social media really ramps up that comparison.
So I used to charge like $80, $90 for a balayage that would take me 6 hours to do. And I would use so much product, but I'd feel so bad that I didn't want to charge. When I raised my prices, I raised them to $250.
Yeah.
Because I was like, and like Ryan taught me this too, I was like, I gotta get my shit together. And it wasn't a huge jump, it was from 90 to 150. And then all of my new clients, I started charging $250. My older clients stayed at $150 because they were loyal, blah, blah, blah. When I raised my prices, I learned who's staying with me because they actually do like me as a hairdresser and they like what I do for them and they like their hair, versus who was only coming to me because I was cheap. So that helped a lot too with like overcoming the imposter syndrome. Because I was like, wait, they actually do like what I do.
Right.
I am pretty good. I'm never the type of person, because I think that's like having a huge ego, to be like, I'm good at what I do.
Yeah.
Never that kind of person. It's more for me, if that makes sense. So cheaper clients only came to me because they liked cheap hair, versus when I raised my prices, they were coming to me because they're like, oh shit, like you're really good at what you do.
I belong to you.
So if one aspect of this video resonated with you in any way, I hope you know now that you're not alone. Other people struggle with imposter syndrome just like you, even the people you look up to. And if they can do it, just remember that you can do it too.
And I always be